Hello and welcome.
Is it on? Are we on?
God knows, why isn't it not on the screen?
No idea.
It ain't working, is it? It doesn't work, does it? Doesn't work.
Now if you come on down to Highbury,
Mad. It's mad, isn't it? It's
now if you come on down to Highbury, you can see Thierry Henry. He is the best player you will ever see. Thierry Henry. Now if you come on down to Highbury.
Absolute nightmare. Absolute nightmare. Can you hear me, chap? Can you hear me? Nightmare. So professional. So professional.
I just want to say, Andy, thank you for that thoroughly enjoyable, roughshod introduction to the show. It was a thing of absolute beauty.
Brilliant.
It's what I would call.
Now, if anyone that's watching or watches this back can just take a clip and send that off for the Sony Awards, that would be fantastic. Thank you ever so much.
Excellent. Well, I can see my favourite podcast. Once again, yes, it's probably about 10 seconds or something like that. But once again, I can see sound clear on the old camera. Unfortunately, my superb broadband service has decided to give a really rather crappy picture of the YouTube. But we live and learn, or something.
I'm just going to have to try and guess when you've actually stopped your sentence, because I hardly heard a word of that. And you sounded like a Dalek or something out of Star Wars. Maybe C-3PO or R2-D2, one of those. So yeah, well, let's just have to see how we get on. If you get worse, then maybe you just have to drop out, come back in again, and see if it makes a difference. I don't know, but we'll have to plow on and see how we get on. All right.
I suppose we better say hello to everyone, right?
Yeah. Do you know what, chappers? Do it now if you can. Just drop out and come back in, because I can't hear a word you're saying. Unfortunately, it's very robotic.
Yeah.
See you in Mo. See you in a Mo.
All right.
Anyway, let's get on. Those of you that are watching, thank you ever so much, and for bearing with us with that amazing introduction. You come to the right place, clearly, to get over all the crap that we are going through at the moment as a football club. And as soon as Chappers is back, we'll get on with just a random chat that we normally do, and the inane. Now here he is. Bear with him 1 second.
Fantastic. I'm back. How you doing?
Now we'll see if he comes back. All right. It seems to be a bit dodgy. Here we are. Yes, he's back. Talk. Speak to me. Speak to me.
Okay, here I am. It's me, Chappers.
Yay!
Oh, excellent. For a minute, actually, you were coming through and I couldn't really hear you, so that was fantastic. I've got to say, mate, this has probably been the slickest start to the show that we've ever done.
Exactly. I think so. And it's, I just saying that to the lovely people whilst you're away. Hello, Russ, by the way. Thanks for watching.
Good evening,
I'm
Russ.
just saying to lovely people, they've come to the right place for a load of crap to get just to get away from all the rubbish that's going on with our football club at the moment.
Yeah,
We're going to lighten the mood, aren't we?
we are going to lighten the mood. Yeah, instead of the rubbish that's going on at our football club, you can watch the rubbish that's happening right here.
Exactly.
No, I
At least it's funny rubbish.
It's entertaining. It's fun. It's the business, my friend. What can I say?
Exactly, mate.
So,
We have got.
believe that-
Sorry, I was going to say we have got a new segment today that we're going to sort of try and introduce if we remember. That's the key thing. If we remember to carry it on, and it is called. What did I call it? I'm trying to think
hot
of
takes
a
or
name
something.
on my
I
head.
don't know. Controversial.
Hot takes, controversial, edgy opinions, something along those lines. We'll have to come up with an actual name for the section.
Yeah, absolutely. Come up with a really excellent jingle that'll only half work as well.
This is why we're on the same wavelength for my son, because I was just about to say we have to come up with a jingle.
Yes, indeed.
So yeah, I mean, have you got one ready? Because I've got two actually for today, and I think we should only do one each going forward. You go first, then, chappers, with your first one. Now,
we're doing it now.
Do we? Yes. Do we need to do a disclaimer so that we're not going to get sued or taken off air by YouTube?
No, I don't think so. You see, I reckon a lot of people might actually share. I suppose this is it goes against a very kind of broad and very mainstream opinion, but I reckon that I will have support with my fans on this particular. And
Hang on a sec, chappers. Hang on. You've gone all robotic again. Shame.
Me. Can you hear me still?
Just go. Yes, that's better. Carry on. Oh, bomb. He's gone again. Just give him 1 second. No, I will do mine whilst he comes back. This is such a shame. I'm looking forward to it. Where's... Such a shame. Bear with me, view. Bear with me. Right. Now, just give me a few seconds, see if he comes back with some Wi-Fi. If not, I'll go on with my edgy opinion. In the meantime, come on, chappers, come on, son. In the meantime, I will give you my edgy opinion. And the first one is to do with our absolutely wonderful left back that everyone loves, the Tesco bag himself, Kieran Tierney. Now, my really annoying chappers messaging me now. My hot take on Kieran Tierney, what really annoys me is people cannot seem to say his surname properly. I mean, what is that all about? If I have to hear one more person call him Kieran Tyranny, I will go absolutely ballistic. I listen to a lot of podcasts, as everyone knows, who's a regular listener to this one. I always tell people that I listen to podcasts all day whilst I'm at work, and so many people on podcasts call him Kieran Tyranny. Now, is it that hard to say? Tierney. Here's Chapper's back. Fingers crossed. It's going to be okay again for a little while.
I'll probably be going in another couple of minutes.
You're back, Chappers?
Can you hear me?
Come on, Chappers.
Am I robotic?
He's back. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hello? I can't hear
Hello,
you.
can you hear me? You can hear
yes. Yes.
me? Yes.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Oh my goodness!
Now,
All right, you know what?
Jaffers,
I think we should start this podcast again.
I was giving my opinion whilst you were off. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now, it was
Hello,
about
welcome
Kieran
to
Tierney,
Podcast
our wonderful
Wonderland.
left back. It was about Kieran Tierney, okay?
Okay.
Now, what really annoys me is people cannot seem to pronounce his surname. Why do people have a problem with Tierney? Now, if I have to hear one more person say tyranny, I will go mad. How can you not say Kieran Tierney? Tia, knee. Now,
Yeah.
Tia, out your eye, knee, Tierney. Now, it's not tyranny, because that is quite bad stuff that happened in days of yore.
Yeah. Back in the days when I got my internet installed, back in the dark ages.
Not quite that. I don't think it's quite that long ago, but it's still a long time ago. Probably around the time of the Vikings. Now,
Genghis Khan. Yeah, he liked a bit of tyranny, didn't he? Or tyranny, whatever it is.
Exactly.
Genghis Khan loved a bit of that, but he didn't have any Wi-Fi. So who's winning here? That's all I'm saying.
How do you know? He might have had a contract with 3, or he might have at least had WAP on his phone. Remember that?
Oh my God, that's a long time. Well, I think it means WAP means a different thing nowadays, doesn't it? It's very naughty indeed.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Have you not? There's a pop song that's come out quite recently. WAP. Nicki Minaj, I think it is. Is it Nicki Minaj?
You'll have to tell me off air.
It's very real. It's very sexy.
Oh yeah. Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah.
It might be too worldly for me then. In that case,
get a gander of the video, mate. You'll probably have a heart attack, but you at least you go happy.
I'll have a look when I'm in bed later. Then that'd be good. Something to look forward to.
Yeah, that's too much information.
Now, you give your edgy opinion. Your first one.
Okay. Well, it's not really Arsenal based, I'm afraid. But
Arsenal based.
Oh no, good. Right. So the first one is, I think a lot of people would share my opinion, actually. But a very mainstream opinion that happens this time of year, right? Christmas songs, they're wank. I hate them, all of them. I can't stand, people call me a bit of a humbug. Actually, you know what? That's a bit harsh. Because there are some songs that I don't mind. But the shit that you hear on the radio day in, day out, I can't be doing with it. I know people say, "Oh, it gets you in the mood, doesn't this make you feel nice and Christmassy?" No, it makes me feel that there have been no new musical ideas in the last 50 years, man.
I know. Drives me mad, mate.
You're
not alone.
Same thing. Find a catchy tune, write some trite lyrics that don't mean anything, decorate it, so to speak, with words that are associated with Christmas, and hey presto, you've got yourself a hit on your hands, haven't you?
There's one that has been done in the last, what you could call relatively modern times, that I think is good. It's actually a good song and it's fun. And that is Christmas Time, Don't Let the Bells End by The Darkness.
You see, even I can't get on board with that one. I must admit, when I saw it,
it's good. I think they take the mickey out themselves in the video. And
that is its one redeeming feature.
Yeah, and it's actually comparable to the Merry Christmas, everybody. No. What's it? The Slade and that sort of. It's comparable to those types of songs, a Wizard, you know, and that's why I think it's all right.
Over them, man.
I'm not saying, you know, and like the Pogues, I've heard it too often because that's actually quite a good song. It's not specifically a Christmas song, really.
No,
But
not really.
But I've heard it too many times and I can't stand it anymore. But
No,
I totally agree with you, mate. I totally agree.
I would rather listen to carols, and I'm not even a religious man. I would rather listen to Christmas carols. Although I'll tell you a fun story, actually. I was roofing. I was working with a mate who shall remain nameless, but he could be a grumpy bastard at times. He was all right. He's a lovely guy, but he could be a grumpy old bastard at times. And I'd always bring a radio in. We'd have the radio on. It was fine. You know, we listened to the brilliant little companion for us to get through the day. And I remember we were doing a job, and it was particularly, it was quite an annoying roof. It was a stone tile roof, but the pitch of the roof was such, it was what, maybe 20 degrees, which really for a stone tile roof, it's really not the ideal pitch for an elevation. So in fact, it does make it quite annoying.
Sorry, or is it literally just about roofing, this anecdote, or?
No, but I thought I'd share, overshare.
Okay.
So
I like
anyway,
the details.
the elevation is too small for a normal scaffold. Okay, so we've got like a little tower scaffold, and yeah, I think I'd had enough of the Christmas songs, you know, and I found another radio station. There were some carols on, and my mate was like, "Oh, don't put the carols on." And I was like, "Oh, come on, man, it's nice. It's really nice." He said, "Don't put the carols on." I said, "Look, come on, where's your Christmas spirit? Get into it." Do you know what I mean? He said, "Don't put the fucking carols on." Toe-ended my radio off the scaffold, over next door's garden, onto the patio, smashed the bloody thing. That was it. That was the end of all carols, and the end of also goodwill to all men. So there you go.
God, bloody! I mean, that is bar humbug. Now, Russ has said, "How can anyone not like Last Christmas by Wham?" I'm going to gloss over that. I'm going to save yourself. I'm going to save you because I like you. I'm not going to answer that one myself at all. So I'll gloss over it. But thanks for watching, Russ. I do appreciate it.
Yeah,
mate.
you're a good lad, Russ. But no, mate, no. Get out of town.
Lion Harley has followed me on Twitch. Thank you, Lion. I don't know whether that's my first follower. Maybe. I will follow you back, and I do appreciate it. Thanks for watching. So, second edgy opinion.
Go for it, mate.
For me. Again, it's related to me listening to podcasts all day. And the reason I listen to podcasts all day is because exactly what you just said. They play the same songs over and over again all day on the radio. Plus, they play the news every half an hour. And I can't stand it. So I listen to podcasts. But there's something that really, really irritates me about podcasts. Well, two things, actually. Two things. The first one is the use of the word narrative. I can't stand it. Why all of a sudden has people got to, they think that they've got to put the word narrative into anything they're talking about. And every paragraph that they're talking about, they have to fit the word narrative into it. Stop. Please, just stop. It's not clever. It's not funny. It does not make you sound intelligent. Okay?
I mean, what was wrong with good old-fashioned story?
Also, peace when they're talking about something they've written. Why is it not an article anymore? Why is it not an article? Why do they say, I've written a piece? Why?
I've got to be honest with you. I have noticed it now you said it, but I don't.
Drives me mad. Drives me mad.
When that changed. You know.
There's also another thing. I don't know why with the people
We're
realise
just going to be here all
the
night
time.
listening to you rant, aren't we? No, it's fine. You carry on.
Mate, honestly, right. This is the thing. God, it really, really grinds on me. People that do that, I don't know if I can do it. Actually, I've never done it before. But when they're talking close to their microphone, as they do, when they're talking about anything, go, yeah. Well, when you're talking about Arsenal's current run of form. Did you hear that? When they suck spit back through their teeth at the end of each sentence. I don't know whether you've noticed that as well.
It's what I would call the isn't it?
Oh, God,
Joe Wiley used to do that quite a lot. I mean, well, I guess she's still on the radio, isn't she? So she used to do that all the time.
Oh, mate, as soon as you notice it, you can't unhear it, and it happens at the end of each sentence. And it's just crept in. It never used to happen. Do people think that that's a cool thing to do or something? I don't know. It's just come out of nowhere. And I've listened to podcasts all day, and I had a good question from Russ. What's our favourite podcast? Which we can move on to after.
We are going to crack on to that at some point. But
that's
what you were saying. I've got a take on. I just said I've got a take on that. On why that might happen, that thing. But you carry on. Finish what you're saying.
No. I'll just say that's it really for me. That's just the end of my gripe really. But
okay,
yeah, it's just stop. Anyway, yes. What's your second one?
Well, I've just got a take on what you were saying, and a possibility as to why people might actually do it, and that is. Because you get podcasts have really obviously become massively popular over the last maybe 10 years, I suppose. Certainly in the last sort of 3 to 4 years, there's podcasts fucking everywhere, you know. But I would say that the reason for this that kind of happened, I think that. When it comes to people presenting radio, a lot of radio professionals have the kind of are really aware of their technique, and so when you're with the mic and when you're singing as well, it's the same thing when you're singing. When you take a breath in, you back away from the microphone, so as to not to amplify it, but. Here's my take. I think that obviously podcasts have become a lot more popular over the last 3-4 years because they're very easy to do and they're very easy to set up. But you don't necessarily have to have or need that vocal training or that radio training to be able to to do a podcast. Therefore,
I totally get your point.
They're not aware of it.
I totally get your point, but
yeah,
I've been listening to these certain podcasts. I'm not going to name them, the specific ones, for a long time, an awful long time.
Yeah,
and they've just started doing it recently.
Oh, really?
And quite pronounced, yeah, quite pronounced. It's as if they think that it sounds good to the listener or something. I don't know. It's just really odd.
Podcast chic.
Anyway, what's your second one?
Well, a lot of people aren't going to like this one. A lot of people are not going to like this at all.
Good.
This is the most controversial by far. Here it comes.
Go on.
Cake. What's the point? What's the fucking point of cake? Right. No, seriously, I'm very, very serious about this, right? There's only one cake. There's only one cake. No, well, that's the point, isn't it? Everybody, I think, is not as much of a fan of cake as they would like to admit.
Fat kids are.
Well, that's true. But they'll eat anything, you know.
Yeah.
They'll eat anything they get their grubby little hands on. But the thing is that cake, right? Now, everyone goes, oh, brilliant. What an effort you've made to make that cake. Now, sometimes it might be a shit cake. Sometimes it might be an all right cake. But sometimes you're just not in the mood for cake. In fact, for me, most of the time, I'm not in the mood for cake. Don't get me wrong. I will eat cake. Okay. It's not like I think it's disgusting. I will eat it. Okay. But like somebody makes a big cake and everyone goes, oh, cake. No, not oh, cake. Oh, fuck. Oh,
No.
oh, it's cake.
Why did you bother?
Sorry?
Why did you bother? Why would you?
What is my problem with it? Did you say?
No. You just want to say, why did you bother making that cake?
Look, I understand. It's a fun. I mean, everybody loves the fucking Bake Off, don't they? Again,
No, they don't. No, they don't. I don't. I've never watched it in my life. I would never watch it.
That's good to hear. Good to hear. But I mean, I don't know if anyone listening thinks about it, but I just think cake is overrated and a bit pointless. It's not as nice as everyone thinks it's going to be. I will say the only exception that I really make here is, well, I do like cheesecake, but that's not really a cake, is it?
No, that's a dessert.
But I will make an exception for those lovely, delicious Jaffa Cake bars.
Jaffa Cake bars, yeah, they're nice. They're not really a cake, though, are they?
Well, this is another opinion altogether, isn't it?
Yeah, well, is Jaffa Cakes a cake, or are they some kind of biscuit?
Well, if they come in a Jaffa Cake bar, they're kind of a cake, aren't they?
Well, yeah, the cake bar, I suppose, yeah, but not a Jaffa cake in itself.
It's not a big slab of cake, is it? It's not a fucking great tranche of cake.
It's like when someone gives you a cake, a whole massive, like a heavy fruit cake. Now, I don't mind the odd slice of a moist fruit cake, right? And because my family my strange family, are all from Yorkshire, they eat a slice of fruitcake with a piece of cheese, which I like. It sounds really weird.
Is this just at Christmas? Or this is it just in general?
In general, with a piece of fruitcake.
With a cup of tea.
You have a bit of cheese with it.
Oh, a bit of cheese?
Yeah.
I can't make it any worse.
I don't mind that every now and then, but one slice would do me for ages. I'd be happy with that, and it will last me until I next have a slice of cake months down the line.
One slice of fruitcake will probably, I think.
But what are you supposed to do with the whole cake?
When you hibernate.
Exactly. What are you going to do with the whole cake? You don't want to have several slices of cake a day until you've finished it, do you? Like day after day after day. So I don't know what you're supposed to do with the whole cake. Thank you, but a slice would have done.
Thank you, but no.
Yeah, exactly. Take it away with you. You don't want it to go to waste. I'm on a diet. Yeah. Anyway,
quite right, sir. Quite right. Anyway, so there we go. That's my cake rant. I proper went for it, didn't I? I didn't realize it was going to be it was going to be such an impassioned ramble, soliloquy, in fact, about the humble cake.
No, I was, I'm very, very happy the way it went. And, tune in next week, ladies and gentlemen, for some more hot takes.
Oh, yeah.
And edgy opinions. I've had a question from Loist Boy.
Loist Boy.
Thank you very much. And for your question. Question from my main man, Andrew. What kind of toothpaste do you want? What is it? It's the red one that is for sparkling white. Colgate Max White or something, I think it's called.
Red and white. What you say?
It's in a red tube. And it's the only one I have, really, because it really makes the mouth feel completely and utterly fresh, as if you've just mouthwashed with some very strong mouthwash. And that is what I'm on. Thank you for your question. What are you on then, chappers?
Me, I am on the vilest toothpaste known to man. It's fucking disgusting, but I have to have it because I have bad gums, you see. So yeah, it's Corsadil. It's called. It's
Oh,
it's honestly, mate, it's the worst. It is the worst. It just tastes horrid. I mean, I must
can't you use some normal stuff afterwards?
Well, yeah, you can do, but the thing is, it's quite good for your gums, you see. So I do sometimes. Usually, I brush my teeth thrice a day. So I use the Corsadil once in the morning and once in the evening. But usually, once before I go to bed. But in the evening, when I get home, I usually sort of brush my teeth because I like to freshen up a little bit. And I'll use the Corsadil, and then I'll use. Oh, I've forgotten what it's called.
Oh, it don't really matter.
H1
I'm really that interested. But yeah, I'm interested.
Thanks for your question, Andrew. Yeah.
No, it wasn't my question. It was Loist Boys.
All right, okay. Well, you asked me what toothpaste I was on.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, the Arm & Hammer. I'm not keen on Arm & Hammer, Russ.
Isn't he an actor?
Arm & Hammer. Arm & I don't know. We had a player called Armand Traore, I think, didn't we, at one point?
We did. No. Yes, once upon a time. Didn't he go to Barcelona or somewhere? He went somewhere like where you.
No, that was Van Bronckhorst that went there.
Oh yeah, but I'm going to have to look this up, because I'm sure he went somewhere, and we all went. He went there.
I'm not sure about whether he did.
Maybe I completely. Oh yes, no, you're absolutely no. He went from Arsenal to the dizzy heights of Queen's Park Rangers.
That's right. I remember that now. You say it. Yeah, I don't think he hardly made any appearances.
He did. He went to Juve for a while. He went to Juve on loan to Juventus.
Bloody hell.
I know.
Not you. So did Lord Bentner.
Oh,
he went there on loan as well, didn't he?
What we wouldn't give for Lord Bentner, banging him in.
I swear to God, he would be perfect now with all that crossing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either him or Jesus Christ would be quite good for us at the moment. But anyway, I won't go down that path.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, like I said, we're not going to talk about the miserableness of Arsenal at the moment. But what we can talk about is the wonderful Europa League, which is back tomorrow.
Oh,
and
these are the games that we play well at, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's almost a shame that it's the last group game tomorrow, because I'm going to miss that over Christmas, because it's been the real joy of watching Arsenal at the moment. And the way that, I mean, the way that I think it might have been we'll come on to your question in a minute, Russ, about our favourite podcast. But talking about that again, I was listening to, I think it was the Arsenal Vision podcast the other day, and they were saying about the great win that we had last week in the Europa League, and can you sort of contextualise it between the performance we're putting out in that competition versus the Premier League? And the way I do it, I've always have. I see it as each match that comes up, I see it as its own individual match. I don't really care who we're playing. I just want to see Arsenal win football matches. I don't know what the way that you feel about it. I prefer
we win them. I prefer that we won rather than drew or lost. To be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, I like, but I see each match as. I don't look at the bigger picture when I'm sitting down and watching Arsenal. If you know what I mean, I just want to enjoy that match. So I don't care who we play, and the crappier the opponent, the better for me, because I want to see loads of goals. I wouldn't care less if we played someone from the National League every week, because we'll be getting great wins. I don't care about how crap our opponents are, and it annoys me a little bit that people keep going. Yeah, but they've always got to do. You've got to put,
But it's
think about
only
who you're playing and all that. But a good performance is a good performance, and I just enjoy watching Arsenal win. So I'm not really bothered about that. But tomorrow, I really, really, really hope, because there's no way that we can't not win the group now, just put out as many youth players as possible. It would be great to see, don't you think?
Well, to be honest with you, I saw a beautiful tweet from good old Eddie Longbridge earlier.
Yeah.
And it said, had a picture of Granit Xhaka, and it said, this man needs to play tomorrow. In fact, he needs to play the full 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Which I love.
No.
Oh, yeah. I see where you're going with that one. Yeah, nice one. I agree with you. And it's, I mean, interestingly, that's also, I suppose, another controversial opinion in itself, isn't it? Is that actually Europa League games are good to watch, or are enjoyable to watch, because we win them for a start. I mean, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. You can only beat who's in front of you, can't you? I think that if we win tomorrow, would we have 100% record? Would that be
the first time ever? First time ever, I think.
See, that's not to be sniffed at, is it? And people go, oh, well, it's I don't know, bootlick carpet munch or whatever they're called,
Well, most of them are like like the teams that lot down the road have been playing. They're like Wi-Fi passwords, aren't they? Really? But anyway, what was I going to say now? My brain has gone to mush. I was going to ask you a question then as well.
Were you talking about podcasts? Were you going there, or were you?
No, it wasn't. But yeah, let's move on to that one, because I was going to anyway, and it'll come back to me.
Before you do, I think we may not have done this actually already. No, I don't think we've done this. But do you want to explain what the 100 Not Out is all about?
Oh, of course, yeah. Well, should we raise a glass?
Yes, we should. Well, it's a tin, but yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Let's do that.
Happy 100th episode. May
Cheers. Here's to many more, my friend.
Yes, here's to another 100, and may everyone sail happy, or whatever it is, when they smash a champ. What do they say when they put a champagne bottle against a new boat or whatever?
Bottoms up. Let's hope it's not the Titanic. Something like that.
Who said we wouldn't make it to 100? Anyway, here's to another 100. And thank you to everyone that's...
In fact, I might open another one.
Yes, good on you. Good on you. Yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say, but let's move on to the podcast.
All right, yeah, cool.
I've actually got... There's one that I'm really, really enjoying at the moment. And it's... I don't know, it's by Ellis and John from Radio 5 Live. Have you ever heard of them?
I've heard of them. I don't know.
Ellis James,
know who they are.
John Robbins. Yeah, Ellis James, John Robbins. Good. So funny, so funny, and I love. They've got a podcast that comes. Well, they've got two different podcasts, but I think one of them was just finished because it was especially for lockdown.
Yeah.
But they just talk about really random stuff. And in fact, I've just given away something as well, because our edgy opinions.
Yeah.
Brand new section. Copied it from them.
Oh, right.
Hold my hands up. Really, but they have really random topics that they discuss, like texting topics and all that. And some of them, I mean, I'm the sort of person, right, who when I used to watch a lot of telly before, or watch movies and stuff like that, I could find things really funny, but I won't actually laugh out loud.
Yeah,
I will just laugh inside and think, oh, that was really funny.
Yeah.
On occasions, I listen to Ellis and John, and I actually laugh out loud whilst I'm listening to it, whilst I'm at work.
Well, you don't shout, "Oh!"
Exactly. It's really good, really, really good, and it's just like stupid, random stuff. But they're both comedians. And,
it's from Bristol, actually. My next one, John
really
Robin.
funny. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
I saw him supporting Mark Watson actually one time at the Hen and Chicken. Oh, that was quite a few years ago.
Cool.
Now. But yeah, he's a funny guy. He used to go out with Sarah Pascoe.
Sarah Pascoe.
Yeah, comedian.
Don't know her. Oh,
Yeah, she's on loads of panel shows. Blonde hair, very funny.
I'll probably recognise her face then if I saw her. I'd imagine.
Yeah.
I don't really. Oh, that's good. Yeah, he's a very funny bloke. That moves me actually. Just a quick segue, which I wouldn't. I'd let you go next, but normally, but
That's
it made
fine,
a great segue for me to go into my next one because he was a guest on another really, really good podcast that I listened to as well that I loved, and that is Quickly Kevin Will He Score?
Oh yeah.
So good. Yeah.
I haven't actually. I listened to a load of those, and then they stopped making them for a while. And I, to be honest, I didn't get back into it. Are they still doing it then? Are they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Excellent. It's so funny, and it's all about 90s football.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
John Robbins was a guest on it, giving his all-time worst Liverpool 11 from the 90s.
Yeah.
In the one I listened to today, so that was a good little segue moving over to that as well. But I love that, and they're going through, or they have done in the past, but they're redoing it in more depth for patrons recently, and they're going through all the 3 books that Steve Bruce wrote.
Oh God, that was excellent. That was an excellent.
So funny.
Episode. Yeah. Episode. Should I say?
There's 3 books. 3 books, and they went through all of them.
One was called Defender.
Yeah,
one was called Striker, and one was called Striker,
Defender, and Sweeper. Yeah. Really good. So funny.
Mysteries.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. It's called Steve Barnes is his character, isn't it?
That's right.
Steve
yeah.
Barnes. Oh, it's so good. So good. But apparently those books will go for about $1,000 each on eBay, you know.
I hear.
Madness. So
just as a kind of little aside to that as well. Talking of very badly written books, I urge our listeners, watchers, what should we call them, listeners, watchers, to go out and check out the autobiography of Don Estelle. Now, I don't know if anyone knows who Don Estelle is, but he was. So he was in a TV program in the 80s called It Ain't Half Hot Mum, and it was. I mean, to be fair, it's dated very badly. There were quite a lot of old sort of casual racist tropes in it. But silly boy. Yes, exactly. Yes, all that stuff. And anyway, so Don Estelle was in that, and he wrote this autobiography, which he seemingly released without any kind of editor or anything like that. Now, as a result of this, it was possibly the worst autobiography ever written. I haven't read the whole thing, actually. I don't know if it is available, but there are some absolutely choice excerpts from it. If you search it out online, there are at least 9 mentions, I think, of, where was it? Somewhere up north. But it keeps talking about this town hall, this particular town hall, like not Burnley, but somewhere like that, the Burnley town hall, and how amazing it is. And he just and there's so much kind of bitter and twisted, because I think he descended into alcoholism as well, and sort of died a pretty lonely death, I think. Don't quote me on that, I might be wrong. But he just rants about all kinds of things that he hates about modern times and why he can't get any work anymore. And, it is very tragicomic, should I say. And there's also an excellent anecdote about how he fell down a manhole whilst looking at a pair of breasts in Moscow.
He's on about that. He must be on about their level, because he was tiny, wasn't he? He's about 4 foot nothing in heels.
As far as I can remember, I think that the kind of punchline to that anecdote is, "Ladies really do make the world go round, don't they?"
Oh my god, that's funny.
But yeah, I urge people to go out. I really urge people to go and check that out because it is absolute tragicomic gold.
Yeah, oh,
If
definitely.
anyone could notify me of what that town hall is, I'd be most appreciative.
Windsor Davis was the Welshman with a little tash as well, wasn't it? He's the one that
Yes, that's right. The Sergeant Major. Yes.
yeah. And the guy out of Carry On Films was in it as well, wasn't he?
The big guy.
No, the really wimpy guy, with glasses.
Oh, Charles Hawtrey. Was he in it?
Yeah, I think so. I can picture him with one of those sort of hats, like the.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
But anyway, yeah, podcasts. Sorry, I got sidetracked again.
Yeah, what ones do you like then? I know you gave me a good recommendation as well, which I really like.
Was that the Blind Boy podcast?
Blind Boy, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I was about to say, actually. Yeah,
really good.
I love it. I mean, I sort of stumbled upon it actually when I was in a pretty dark place at the time with my mental health, and I told this story I think weeks back on the forum. I went to see a mate, and we hung out and chatted, and he kind of helped me recenter a little bit, really. And he said, well, if you listen to the Blind Boy podcast, he's done some really good episodes on mental health where he talks about cognitive behavioral therapy and transactional analysis and stuff like that. And so that was where I sort of started listening to it. But he just talks about so much more with regards to, he's a really knowledgeable fella. So he says,
it's incredibly intelligent guy. Really intelligent.
And, I mean, one of his things is just like, looking up interesting stuff on the internet. Like, oh, that looks interesting. I'll do some research on that. And he quite often does these, very amusing sort of hot takes, which sometimes sort of border into, fun conspiracy theory territory, shall we say. But he's very self-aware. So he'll say, look, this is just a hot take. It's just for your entertainment. You don't have to necessarily believe that it's true. Most of the time I'm talking out of my arse. But, it's there for your entertainment. And I quite like that. He often links to apparently, unconnected things. And then, we'll go on this entire ramble that makes you think, oh, yeah, okay, I see where you went with that. But, he's a really erudite guy, very funny. And, he talks often about the podcast hug, which I always kind of get when I listen to him. That kind of intimate sort of warm, fuzzy feeling that you get from just kind of being taken away into your own little world with your headphones on or whatever.
It's really good. I can recommend it. There's another one that's talking about Ellis James, the Welsh guy that we just spoke about in my last choice. There's another one called, which again you made me laugh out loud. The last episode I heard last week, and it's called The Socially Distant Sports Bar, and it's basically just three guys, Welsh guys, all of them. It's Mike Bobbins, Ellis James, and Steph Guerrero, and they just talk like for an hour or so, as if they're in the pub. I don't know whether they're all comedians again, but it's absolutely hilarious. And there was a piece in it last week. I might have to try and dig it out, and I'll put the link into the show description afterwards. But it went on for about this particular piece of conversation, and I have to forgive me, I can't remember exactly what it was about, but it went on for maybe 10-15 minutes, and I just had me in stitches. So funny. I really recommend it. But The Socially Distant Sports Bar, have a look for that on your.
I'm googling it now, mate.
It's so good, so good. Another one I highly recommend to listen to.
Brilliant. Got it. It's on the list. It's on the list.
Fantastic. And obviously, most Arsenal fans have heard of the Tuesday Club. If you haven't, what the hell? But you've got to have that on your listening list. Surely, it's absolutely fantastic. Alan Davies, Tayo Papula, Keith Stover, the General. Oh goodness, who's the other ones? I can't think of the other ones now. But anyway, I'm sure you know. But that's a fantastic one. I can't get enough of. And I started listening to that from the beginning because I think it started in about 10 years ago, or 9-10 years ago, and I started listening all the way from the beginning. And I mainly do that after Arsenal have lost. So, because I don't want to listen to all the podcasts about Arsenal losing and how crap we are for 2 or 3 days after. So I'll go back and listen to some old ones. And absolutely, really, really, really funny. Have you got any more that you want to plug?
Yeah, there's one more actually. That's. I mean, obviously, I do listen. I would say that the Arsenal podcasts that I listen to the most are obviously the Arscast and the Arsenal Vision. Yeah. And sometimes listen to the Handbrake Off podcast as well. Yeah. And Tuesday Club sometimes as well. But I'm going to go for something that's non-Arsenal again. It's one called Imaginary Advice, which is this guy called Ross Sutherland, and he's a sort of writer, poet, and he does these sort of monthly podcasts, I would say, where it's really, really difficult to describe it because it's usually some kind of story or some kind of writing that is sort of showcasing, but they've always got some kind of a sort of twist to them, if you like. So the last sort of little series that he did was something called The Golden House, which was so the other thing I like about it as well is that he does all his own sound design. So all the sound design that he does is really complementary to the music, not the music, sorry, the writing that he's kind of reading out. But so this one was, The Golden House, and it was a 6-part kind of puzzle series. Yeah. So the premise was that, so he played a guy who was some guy that lived in a fictional research facility that was based on the Isle of Wight. And right at the beginning of the podcast, you get a fictional journalist saying, "Right, well, this I'm an Imogen Shelf Test, I think she calls this. I'm Imogen Shelf Test, and this is a puzzle that I've been trying to solve." So there was this research facility on the Isle of Wight, and what they did is to dispel some of the rumours about it. They did a 6-part podcast series, and so he does these 6 episodes where he's playing this guy that works at the Golden House, trying to dispel all these rumors that are happening. But actually inside each episode is like a coded way of finding something out. And when you find that thing out, it takes you to another place and you get an extra bit of audio of him talking about what actually happens there and what's actually happening. And it was really, it was tricky, actually. It was quite tricky, but got there in the end. They get harder and harder as you go along. But I really, really enjoyed that. And he's done all sorts of things. He did like a 2-part thing about Dave Stewart, but Dave Stewart from the Eurythmics, but he's an exorcist. He's like a rock star exorcist. That was quite a fun one. And there was one where he had 7 different costume parties where, so at the first part, he meets this really smug guy who's always constantly trying to outdo him at the costume parties. And they go to ridiculous lengths, basically, to outdo each other. And it just gets silly. It just gets really silly. I highly recommend it. Imaginary Advice, it's called.
It's I've got that on my list now. I've just done that. There's another one. I'm going to recommend, again, not an Arsenal one, but it is a football one, and it's called Life Goals with Theo Delaney. And it's basically a rip-off of Mesut Island Discs that I do. But it's been going on for a while. And I'll just read out the actual blurb. Every football fan knows it's the goals that really stay with you, such as their emotional impact. Oh, sorry, I'm put my glasses on. In Life Goals, well-known football fanatics relive the 8 defining goals of their lives with host Theo Delaney and reflect on what was happening at the time, and it all comes flooding back. And basically, with each goal, they give a song that reminds them of that period of their life as well.
Yeah.
So it's really, really interesting, and really, really good. And it's, a bit of a... Everyone knows, when you think back of a certain goal, you instantly remember that stage of your life and what it sort of means to you at that point in your life, and why that goal is particularly resonant in your life. But they've had some really, really good guests on as well, and some of the music choices again, that go alongside them, it's really, really interesting as well. But which was the one? There's Danny Kelly. That's the one. It was in 2 parts. I don't know if you know Danny Kelly.
Isn't he a Spurs fan?
Yeah, I was just about to say he's one of 2 Spurs fans I really, really like.
Who's the other?
Him. I think he's so interesting, that Danny Kelly. He's actually one I actually like. Tim Vickery. Tim Vickery. He's obviously a football pundit, but he lives over in Brazil. He's lived there for about 30 years. So he's a specialist on South American football.
Oh, right.
But I could listen to him talk about football all day, and that's another good podcast, is the World Football Phone-In with Dotun Adebayo and Tim Vickery.
Yes, I have. Yeah, I've listened to that. That's brilliant.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So interesting. So interesting. But Tim Vickery, he's just amazing. And that he is the reason why I've got a lot of confidence in Pablo Mari. Because before he joined Arsenal, and bearing in mind Tim Vickery's a spud, he still gave him, a really good, glowing recommendation. And he talked about him for a while. In fact, I clipped it and I put it onto one of my podcasts months ago, beginning of the year, end of last year. But yeah, I could listen to him all day. But Danny Kelly, I don't know if you ever heard him on the radio or anything, but he talks and talks and talks.
I think I think I heard him on. Yeah, I did hear him on talking about football and about Spurs on a podcast. It might have been one with Tim Vickery, I think. I don't know, maybe.
He's massive friends with Danny Baker.
Yeah.
And back in the day, obviously there's Chris Evans, Danny Baker, Danny Kelly, and Paul Gascoigne. Used to go out on the lash all the time. But anyway, Danny Kelly used to work for the NME. He's the editor of the NME and a few other real highbrow, it's not highbrow, but real music magazines. So he's got a massive background in music as well. So he's my type of guy, music and football, really. And I love both, just as much as the other, which is why this whole podcast is good, because it marries them both. But Danny Kelly went on for so long, he actually put it into 2 parts, this Theo Delaney. So it's part 1 and part 2 of this podcast. But some of the excuse me, turn my sound off. Some of the stuff he talks about is really funny, because he's such a good storyteller, Danny Kelly, I think.
Yeah.
And he just talks about things and he just can't stop talking about them, and you just get really engrossed whilst you're listening to it. So I recommend that one as well. Favorite, I'm going to give one more recommendation, and then I'll just very, very, very quickly just give a couple of shout outs to a couple of Arsenal ones as well.
Yeah.
But I think it's a Spotify exclusive. This next one, slight Arsenal link because one of the producers of it is Tayo Papula, who's, as regular listeners will remember, he was actually on the show before doing Desert Island Discs.
Mm-hmm.
And he's from the Tuesday Club, obviously. He's a former DJ, musician and stuff. He produces this show called Giant. I don't know if you ever heard of that. And each episode is only about 20 minutes long or so. But they talk about stories that you might have forgotten about, in the history of football, or just very, very interesting things that you may never have heard of, or a deep dive into one specific subject. But it's only about, like I say, 20 minutes long, but they're brilliantly done. And just before, and I mentioned this on a podcast a few weeks ago when Diego Maradona passed away, but 2 or 3 weeks before he passed away, they did a show on Diego Maradona about when he played in Ossie Ardiles' testimonial when he played for Tottenham. Diego did, and I mentioned it and at the time, but it's absolutely brilliant and real sort of in depth behind the scenes look at that particular event. And they've done another one where during lockdown, which was about I think it's Hampton and Richmond non-league football team.
Oh yeah,
and how the lockdown and the stoppage of football completely affected a small club like that. And it's so good. It's so good. It really, grassroots football, and how that club like that has been affected. And they interviewed one of the fans, and this club was this fan's life. He knew everyone at the club, and there was a woman that was interviewed who I think did the club accounts, plus she worked at the bar, plus she did all the, organized all this other stuff for him. It's amazing. Proper community club. And they were having a brilliant season before they got, football got stopped completely. Yeah. And will they have the players when it gets resumed? Will they have, all these players obviously have got full-time jobs as well, and what they're going to have to do. And it was such an interesting show. And just really recommend it. Just 20 minutes a show, as I said, and just stick it on your list. I mean, they're going series, and I think at the moment it's still going on. It's about one a week, but then they'll stop for a while, but then they'll start up again. So yeah, I recommend that one to listen to as well. But just a quick shout out to a couple of my favourite Arsenal ones. I mean, I'm not going to mention Arsenal Vision and an Arse blog like Arsecast like you mentioned, because they're great and everyone listens to those.
Yeah.
But a couple of the other ones people may not have on their list. First one is the Purely Arsenal podcast. I think that's really, really good. I love the guys. They always try and keep things as upbeat as we do, on the show. But some good humour in there as well. But some lovely guys. I lovely guys, and I'm lucky enough to be a guest on it once. But I think I may have gone over the top with maybe a couple of swear words. I haven't been asked back since. But, do apologise, guys, and I really want to come on again. But anyway, that's really good. Highly recommend that. And the second one is the Bruised Banana. I don't know if you've heard that one. I think it's right up there with probably my favourite Arsenal podcast. And it's the three guys that do that are just Alex, Tom, and Dan. They just go together so well. You can tell that they're just great mates. They've been growing up together for years, and they're actually really intelligent, but they give really good sort of analysis, and their memory of matches is great. But they just bounce off each other so well, and they're really, really funny. And I think they've put the show together superbly. I can't recommend it highly enough to any Arsenal fan out there. So give the Bruised Banana, it's called. Give it a listen. Stick it on your playlist, and you won't be disappointed. They deserve. I don't know how many listeners they've got, obviously, clearly, but they deserve to be right up there with all Arsenal fans, in my opinion. Anyway, well done, boys. So yeah, that's me. Have you got any more before we move on?
No, I don't think so. I mean, there are, there's quite a few. I'm just gonna put those out there because they're the ones that I'm going to say are quite popular anyway. But if you haven't, I mean, Atletico Mince is always, really good.
Oh, that's so good, so good.
I love that. I really enjoy Andrew Allen and what's his name, Carl Wogan's. That's kind of quite quirky and as sort of a little bit of a sideways look at sport. So they've got a football section. They've got quite a really nice rapport going on. The Allusionist is quite good, which is like a very much. I'm really fascinated by word etymology and stuff, and where words come from and how language is formed and all that sort of stuff. So I love to listen to that. And what's the lady's name? Helen Zaltzman is an excellent. She's really engaging, really interesting, and I think she is the sister or husband of Andy Zaltzman, who is the presenter of the Bugle podcast, which is that's quite a sort of fun, sort of satirical look at the news, I suppose. Let's have a look. I think
Russ Morgan has put. He used to love the Gooner Fanzine podcast. It was on once a month. Such a shame it kind of ended a while ago. That's absolutely right, Russ. That was a good one as well. Did like that one myself. I remembered what I wanted to talk about all that time ago.
Oh, do you know what? I'm really, really looking forward to this, mate.
It's not. I won't get too excited, but basically, what it was I was again. It was one of the big two, the Arscast or the Arsenal Vision, has sort of stolen my thunder, and I can't remember which one it was, so I do apologise to any of them, but who actually sort of mentioned this before, but I've been thinking about it for quite a while actually. What it was is Mikel Arteta has obviously got an idea of the way he wants to play football, right?
Yeah.
A style, and it's widely reported that he wants to play 4-3-3. In fact, he came out in the Spanish press recently, didn't he, and said he's 5 or 6 plays short of from what he needs. Now, in my opinion, I think he should just be playing the way he wants to play and add the players as and when he can. And people who say, well, he hasn't got the player to do that or to do that. Well, I beg to differ. He has. And I've been saying this, again, apologies for anyone that listens to or watches this week in, week out. But everyone knows how I feel about Emile Smith-Rowe for a start. And when you say, well, he hasn't got that player, well, he has. Just play him and just play the way you want to play, Mikel. Just play the way you want to play, whether that be 4-3-3 or whatever. And if you feel that the senior players can't do a certain job for you, well, we have got another player that could do that job for you. And who knows, maybe they will just take to it like a duck to water and give them a show. Because the maximum length of time that player would have to play that specific position would be 6 months. Because there's always the transfer window 6 months away. Maximum, usually 4, because obviously bearing in mind the first one finishes next, at the end of January. So then you've only got the February, March, April, May, June, 5 months, and it will be open again, if not before. So just do it like that way, because the rest of the team, in the meantime, are building up their experience and getting used to the way that's playing. You obviously get the academy to play the same way. and so on, down the age groups. And in the meantime, you will know whether that youth player is going to be good enough. If they're not good enough, the results aren't going to be any worse than they are at the moment for a start. But if they are going to be good enough, happy days. You know, you saved yourself 20, 30 million in the transfer market.
True.
If they, and going back, if they're not good enough, they've had a lot of first team experience and their value for a sell-on value in the meantime. So what harm is it going to do in the long run? I can't, there isn't one. And at the moment, we can't get any lower in the league. We're on the verge of being
we get like 3 or 4 places lower, can't we? Or something.
But,
I think 15th or 16th.
Luckily,
I can't remember.
Exactly, but luckily, the 2 teams are pretty much already down anyway. I think we're 7 points off the bottom 3 at the moment. So I think we are better than 3 teams in the league. I don't think we'll go down. But hopefully, this is the worst we're going to get. But playing the players that have come up through the academy, for example, it's not going to be worse than playing a player like Granit Xhaka. Granit Xhaka could not care less about Arsenal. He couldn't care less about Arsenal. There's several points in his Arsenal career that openly show you that he does not care about the badge. I mean, the obvious one, throwing the shirt on the floor. You would never do that if you had a lover of the club. You would never throw the captain's armband on the floor. And you would never come out after a match and say we were all scared to play against Watford. And you would, what's the other thing he did recently as well? I can't remember. It's gone out of my head again. But he did something else recently as well. But it's blatantly obvious that he's doing this as a job. He's not got any love for the club at all. And you're not telling me that sticking a player for the academy in is not going to have the passion to play, you know, and run through brick walls for the club and work so much harder than so many of the so-called senior players.
I'm not sure I agree with that absolutely hottest of takes fully. I mean, I know what you're saying. I appreciate what you're saying. But you know, just taking on board also the fact that, you know, that so many of the senior players talk about, you know, how passionate he is about the team and about being on the. But I mean, for me, so I'm going to take it back just a little bit. I agree with what you're saying about the about playing the youth players, because let's look at it this way, right? We are where we are at the moment, okay, and I've been thinking about this a lot. It's like, okay, so we were bound to get to this point at some point, and we've taken us an hour and 13 minutes or whatever. So we are
don't go too deep into it, but I'm just, you know, something.
No, that's fine. I think, you know, it is an Arsenal podcast. We might as well talk about.
I'm not going to talk about the previous matches and analyse all that sort of stuff.
Sure. But we are where we are, okay, and there's nothing that we can do about that. But as a result of as a result of the fact that the senior players have let the team down. Now, I would not put it all on the senior players. I would not put it all on the manager, and I would not put it all on the executive committee. But between them, they do have a shared responsibility of the club being where it is. At the point, but B, in a place of where they are culturally in the club's culture, if you like. I think, I mean, this is just me being an optimist. I think that it's quite obvious that there's some changes need to be run. I don't agree with all the reactionary people on Twitter that say, oh, sack the manager. I don't think that's going to do any good. I don't agree also with the people saying, oh, we need to spend 250 million. We don't have that kind of money. But I do agree with the fact that the senior players have let him down. Okay.
And they also need to fight for their place.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So he made the point in his tenure that that it was very much a meritocracy. Now, if these players aren't doing the business, the likes of Willian, I mean even Aubameyang, like you need to let everyone know that they are not immune to being benched. I have to say that that out of the people that I could pick out, Granit Xhaka, Aubameyang. I mean, Lacazette was okay. He's been played out of position, but I guess he showed a bit of passion and a bit of spirit. He's not the answer there. I mean, there are who else? Willian. I've said him. I'm like, have I said Willian? Okay. Who else are we looking at here? I mean, even Bellerin. Ainsley Maitland-Niles perhaps needs a go there. Sit Bellerin down for a bit. Stick Willock in there. See what he can do for a couple of games.
I mean, like I said about Smith Rowe, if Smith Rowe, for example, which I know that he wouldn't be, but if just say he turned out to be absolutely toilet week in week out, you'd obviously not carry on playing him, but just the sheer fact that you've dropped one of the more experienced senior players and put him in the first place is a good thing, I think. But if he does like not deliver the goods, then fine, take him out the team again for a while. But it's you're not going to lose by doing that, because, like I said, by playing him in the Premier League and giving him first time, it's only going to put his price up, just because his appearances for Arsenal in the first team in the Premier League will count to upping his value, regardless of how we think he's got on. He's not going to. We're not going to not benefit from that. So the whole process of doing it as well, like I said, it gives the more experienced players a real kick up the arse that they need as well. Yes. At the same time. So whether we actually benefit because these kids take to it like a duck to water and just fly, like someone like Tariq Lamptey has for Brighton, for example. Look at him; he's fantastic. And he was only they bought him for £1.5 million, and I mean, how much would he go for now? I mean, all the clubs are looking at him.
I mean,
so,
even recently
19, 20.
Chelsea, but who are Moneybags team, but he came out of absolutely nowhere as well, and he's cemented a place in the team too.
Who did you say? Sorry, you broke up on
Reece James, from Chelsea.
Oh yeah, Reece James, exactly. But you don't know that
opportunity, don't they?
Look at Curtis Jones from Liverpool.
Yeah,
what a player he is. And obviously, Terence Trent D'Arby at Liverpool as well. He's the best right back in world football now, and he
such a soulful voice.
Stuck him in there.
You are aware that you did say Terence Trent.
Yeah, I call him Terence Trent. I call him Terence Trent D'Arby. You should know that. I say it all the time. That's my name for him. But he's
Terence.
All these kids just took off. Who's to say that 1 or 2 of ours, if you played them every week, that they wouldn't do the same? So that's what I think that Mikel Arteta should stick to his principles.
Yeah.
Do what he wants to do and stick with it. Because I think that's what Klopp did from day one at Liverpool. And as and when he could, he changed the weak links. And I think we just need to do the same. Anyway, yeah, but
midfield, he can. I was going to say midfield, but actually, mostly he could rotate the entire team, really. But his midfield just play, one on, one off like that. That's they've got to the point where it doesn't really matter who's playing in midfield. Like they'll still be like a really well functioning, well organised, well drilled midfield.
Exactly. Well, Miguel Aziz, who I watched for the under 23, under 21s, under 23 yesterday, absolutely looked class. Absolutely class.
He's a good player.
I honestly don't. I don't think when you've got the ability as loads of clubs across Europe show, if you're good enough, you're old enough. And
Yeah.
I've given this example countless times, but the front three of Borussia Dortmund, and no one can tell me that Borussia Dortmund aren't at the moment a bigger club than Arsenal, with bigger aspirations of winning their league, a strong league, and winning the Champions League, which they're in, year out. And at the moment, I'm afraid to say we're not.
Their shirts.
So, the front three, they've got Claudio Reyna's son, haven't they? What's his name? Gio Reyna. He's
Right.
he was 17 when he was playing week in, week out. He may be 18 now, I don't know. But Haaland,
Haaland, who
he
is
was 19, and Jadon Sancho, 20, and Jude Bellingham, who was 17, maybe he's 18 now as well. That's their front four, and a couple of them rotate in and out. But apart from that, incredible. And no, you can't say they're not good enough. I mean, and Smith Rowe is 20 now, and yet we've got some kind of stigma saying, no, he's not ready.
Too early, like don't ruin their careers.
Oh, no, he hasn't got the muscle, blah, 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 blah. Well, we've had loads of players that was Cesc Fabregas completely, a huge muscle man? No. If you've got the ability, you've got the ability. That end of. So I just think we should give them a try. And tomorrow, we'll end up on this now. Then we can wrap up. But in my opinion, the Europa League tomorrow, and this is not my probably a serious opinion. However, it's semi-serious. I wouldn't mind putting all of the starters that played against Tottenham on that pitch tomorrow in Dundalk, and then put all the players that played last week in the Europa League to Rapid Vienna, play them against Burnley on Sunday, reward them for their real good performance, and exactly, and then put all the players that played against Tottenham against Dundalk tomorrow. That'll teach them.
That's proper bring your dinner kind of levels of levels of aggression from the manager, isn't
it? Exactly. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, I wouldn't mind doing that, but I would love to see all the proper young players. I mean, I'm talking about Balogun, I'm talking about Aziz, I'm talking about Serjan, I'm talking about Smith Rowe. Taylor Hart, who looks amazing. I would love to see all of those players have a go tomorrow from the start, because if you're not going to play them tomorrow, when are you going to play them?
What's to lose? We've
got to get Balogun signed up.
I'd really like to see Reiss Nelson kind of play for us for the first team. He needs a little run out. Pepe's still banned for another game, is it? Or two more?
He's back against Burnley. So yeah, he's finished his ban now. Yeah. Oh no,
no, I think he's out Burnley.
No, I'm sure he's back for Burnley.
Well, if he's not, I'd like to see Reiss Nelson chuck down the right hand side there. Yeah, Willian has to, he needs to be sat down, man.
That worries me. It does worry me.
What's happened? What's happened to him? I just don't know.
I'm not writing him off at all. I still think it's early days for a new player in a new club. I'm not overly concerned about that. What I am concerned about is that he gets preferential treatment considering his form.
Shitty form. Yes,
it's absolutely dog shit. And why you can't play. And same with Xhaka. And why Reiss Nelson doesn't take over from Willian for a spell, and why Maitland-Niles, who looks class every time he plays lately, is not playing instead of Xhaka.
I'd
for
love to
example.
see Maitland-Niles against Burnley.
Or Bellerin, but I prefer Xhaka because I would love to see him have a run at midfield.
Yeah, me too.
Then what is the point in putting on all these great performances in the Europa League if you're not going to get rewarded? And they then sit down and watch this turgid stuff that the main team are kicking out every week in the Premier League, and they look at these players as a human being. They've got eyes and they can see, like same as we can. They can see these shitty performances, and if they look in there thinking, "Why the hell am I not playing ahead of him?"
Exactly.
It's not good for morale, is it? Not
you want
good
those
for
players to
morale.
be hungry for the first team, not to lose heart, you know. And yeah, I
Exactly.
absolutely.
And we can't say that he's not giving certain players a chance. We can't say that he hasn't, but not enough, because you can't keep picking Willian week in, week out, watching him and thinking he's doing all right. Yeah, I'll pick him again for the next game. That's not right. It's not on. Not right. So anyway, that's it. We should. Yeah, I'm torn tomorrow because I would also like maybe to put Aubameyang in tomorrow to get him to score a few goals, but also as a little bit of a punishment as well, because his performance as a captain was an absolute disgrace against Tottenham. And that interview he put out before the match it actually made me quite sad and angry at the same time, that the club felt that should be put out. I mean, did you see it? When you looked oh my God, search it out on Twitter. It was it's some kind of like a Zoom type call that he did before the Tottenham game. Was supposed to rally the troops as the captain, and he looked downright miserable.
Yeah,
and
out of sorts. That's not him at all, is it?
Well, not even that. He looked like he had a gun to his head in one of those videos that when someone's being held captive in the Middle East somewhere, and he was being told to renounce his religion, or and say, yes, they're treating me very well. That it was like that. He looked utterly depressed. So you must have a look at it. It's not long. It's only a minute or two. But it was an absolute disgrace. And why the media team at Arsenal thought, yeah, we'll put that out. I don't know. I mean, it was unanimous across Twitter. People were fuming about it. I was angry and upset at the same time. But
Russ Morgan saying Ober's lost his smile, and that's kind of that. If Ober's smiling, things are going all right, and he ain't smiling. It's
not good. But
anyway, look, you know what? Let's end on a positive note and say we're going to absolutely destroy it. Is it Dundalk we're playing tomorrow, right?
Yeah. It would have been an amazing way to it.
A score prediction from you, mate?
4-0 again. I think that's pretty standard for this.
I think he'll play a really kid-heavy squad team, and I think it will be 3-0.
Yeah, the pressure's off completely, and people will be able to express themselves on the pitch. I think Pepe has shown. Again, I don't care who we're playing. He has really sort of stamped his mark on the last couple of games and shown what a player he is. And no matter what, even if he runs the ball out of play 3 or 4 times in a match, even if he skies one cross out for a throw-in every now and then, I don't care. I do not care, because I love watching him play. I love watching players like that play. They get you out your seat. They get you excited. Sometimes they get you really mad. But I'd rather have that every day of the week rather than watching Willian. I'm sorry, but there's no comparison in a million years.
Amen to that.
No comparison. Have a bit of a maverick on the pitch. That's what I want to see. Yes. Russ has gone for 4-0 as well. So you've gone for 3-0. I think it's absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I am, because we are allowed to take the handbrake off in these games, and it's been a joy to watch, really.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Thanks again, mate. It's great to have you back.
Yeah, man, good to be back always.
See next Wednesday.
Yes, indeed, we'll be there.
Thank you.
With,
To
I'm basically on the end of a double Arsenal win.
Get yourself a Wi-Fi signal booster in the meantime.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Actually, it's full renewal, so it's not so much that. It's because we're so remote. They're too tight to run a cable up here. The whoever it is, BT, who does the anyway. Who does the cable?
Well, it depends.
They haven't run one up to us. That's why it's such a crud signal. But anyway, yeah, no, I've had a lovely time tonight, mate. And happy 100th birthday.
Yes, thank you very much indeed. And to you too. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Thank you ever so much, Russ. Great as always in the chat there. Some great comments. And thank you to everyone else. Thank you to the two guys from who said that they followed me on Twitch. I think they did, and which is I think I had my first couple of followers full stop, which is fantastic. What was his name? Loist Boy, Lion Harley as well. So thank you too as well. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Please give us a like before you go. Include yourself, chappers. On your way out, give the video a like. That'd be fantastic. Tell your friends as well, please. And thanks again. Thanks to the people that are listening to this on the audio version of the podcast, which is available on all of the major platforms and the crap ones as well, I'm sure. So until next week, I will say tatty bye.
Cheerio.
Cheerio. Come on, you silly